Mike.
Azokar in center, just in case I wanted to get his feet wet a little bit.
Yeah, he's here, and we want to use him. Something that I always put a lot of value, using the whole roster. Obviously, giving TT a day here. He's been playing a lot too, and I got to protect him a little bit. And yeah, I'm just giving him Soccer a day here.
And just you saw him in spring training. Just what kind of impression did he make on you?
Good ball player. This is a guy that can play defense, can play all three, can run the bases, and can give you good at bats too. He's got some big league experience, brings a lot of energy. Yeah, I'm excited to have him here.
Howie.
Carlos, I know that with a left-hander starting for them, it's an obvious time to give Beatty a bit of a blow. But at the same time, Bobby Valentine used to say that he loved to give a player a day off when that player was going well, so that it wasn't on his head if he was on the bench for a day. Then what's going on? Is he losing faith in me? Is that something you subscribe to also? And does that kind of fit the narrative with Beatty today, apart from just the left-hander starting?
Yeah, I don't necessarily go and tell them like why. I'm just, by now they both know that they are both going to get opportunities. And it doesn't necessarily have to be against a lefty or against a righty. I think I gave Acuna the other day a couple of starts against right-handed pitching, and there'll be days where with Beatty, he'll stay in there with lefties too. I think it just come down to continue to build the confidence for both of them. Not only Beatty, who's playing really, really well. Acuna's been playing really, really well. So just continuing to communicate with those guys that they are good major league players. And now we're seeing that. But whether it's an off day against a lefty and just, hey, man, like, because you're going well, like, I think everybody's different, and you can manage it a lot of different ways.
Manny.
Is there a possibility that McNeil could be ready to come back maybe by the Philly series on Monday?
We'll see. He's scheduled to play today and tomorrow, back to back, and then we'll see where we at. After that. Yeah.
And then when he does come back, is there a scenario where perhaps Beatty and Acuna can stay on the team?
We'll see. I mean, we'll make that decision when we get there. We're still a few days away. And, the good thing is, if we are having this discussion, it's a good thing. That means Beatty continues to play well. That means Acuna continues to play well. And they're making that decision very tough on us. That's what we want. So hopefully that's the case, a few days from now, where we got to get in that room and make a difficult decision. But they're both earning playing time, and they both proven they're big league players.
Just one more on Alvarez, just what's left for him to accomplish before?
Yeah, I think so. Scheduled to catch 9 innings today. Maybe he'll DH tomorrow. And then as far as like from the medical staff, he's going to be clear. So it's now, do you need more at-bats just to get your timing right? Or are you ready to come up and start playing big league games? So I think after he plays today, he caught 9 innings last night. After he plays today, I think maybe DH tomorrow. And then after that, knock on wood, from medical standpoint, he's going to be clear.
Go, Will.
When Alvarez is ready, how do you envision, like, considering how well Torrance has played, how do you envision dividing that up when Alvarez returns?
Yeah, they're both going to play. I got to take care of Alvy too. I'm not going to run him through the ground. And Louis playing well. That's a luxury to have. When you got two guys that you feel good about your chances. It doesn't matter who's in the lineup, and that's credit to Alvin. That's credit to Louis. So I could see a scenario here where they both will play. Schedule will dictate a lot of that. Whether you're playing a lot of games in a row, day game, night games. So all of that factors into the decision making. But I could see both of them playing.
And just that play on Acuna last night, was that just a case in your mind of being just a little bit over aggressive?
I thought the initial read was a good read. He didn't go at contact. He didn't go to third base off the bat. He kind of stopped, read it, and maybe saw Renato playing too far back. He had to go back to create a longer hop, and he thought he could beat it to the base, which he did. He just overran it or overslide it. So I like the aggressiveness. I'm not going to take the aggressiveness away from especially our younger players. So, and that's what I told him after the game. Yeah, you got thrown out there, but as long as there's a good reason behind it, we're fine with it.
Daniel.
En esa misma línea, cuando venga Álvarez y venga McNeil, un equipo como los Mets que están jugando ahora mismo, estupendo. ¿Qué tan difícil tomar esa decisión para abrir ese roster a esos dos jugadores y bajar dos de los que han cooperado para tener ese equipo en primer lugar?
Sí, no, es difícil, pero también dice mucho de la profundidad de nuestro equipo, que es lo que estamos hablando en principio en Sprint Training, donde no solamente son las estrellas que tenemos en el equipo, sino es la profundidad. Y desde temprano, pues, sufrimos lesiones y la oportunidad que se les está dando a los otros, pues, están aprovechando esas oportunidades. Yo pienso que al recibir a un pelotero de impacto como un Francisco Álvaro, un Jeff McNeil, pues nos va a hacer mucho más profundo. Es cosas que pasan en el negocio, obviamente, donde uno tiene que tomar las decisiones y lamentable para el pelotero que va a tener que ir a AAA. No es cosa que se le escapa de sus manos, pero también es una oportunidad para ellos de decir, ¿sabes qué? Yo puedo jugar en Grandes Ligas y ayudar al equipo.
Mike.
Carlos, Marte's off to a little bit of a slow start. Just wondered, do you think there's been it's been a tough adjustment for him as a guy who's been used to playing every day in his career, now playing part-time?
Yeah, and we knew that coming in. I think I remember having this conversation with him in spring training. I say, hey, man, like, it's not going to be easy. You know, everybody goes through it. And I remember when Carlos Beltran was around, whether it was spring training or here at the beginning of the season, last homestand, I remember talking to Martin and saying, make sure you pick Carlos spring, because he went through the same transition. You know, once you get to that stage on your career where you're becoming kind of like a part-time player. But those are very important players on a championship team, you know. And it's not easy, you know. He's been an elite player, everyday player, and having success. Now, having to go every 3 days, come off the bench and face a pretty good reliever, that's not an easy role to do. And he'll be all right. He's adjusting well. He gets it, and he's gonna be a big part of this team moving forward.
Andrew.
What has impressed you about Acuna as a defender so far this season?
His ability to slow the game down, the game clock. I feel like he's got a really good awareness of who the runner is, the situation of the game. We've seen he's got plus range, but not only he gets 2 balls, but he also has the ability to set his feet and control the tempo. You know, he's not rushing plays, and that's good to see from an infielder that young. You know, so for me, it's more of that the clock that he has when he's playing defense.
Abby.
You guys added some more velocity to the bullpen this season, or at least more than you've had in some seasons past. What does having a guy like Stanek who throws 98, 99, and Kranick even, who can do that for multiple innings, do for you guys? Yeah,
it definitely helps. And not only velo, but pitch shape, you know, and movement, you know. You're talking about like Stanek throwing 98, but he also have a slider and he's got a split. Stanek, you know, Kranick, same way. He's got the fast, kind of like a 4-seam with the slider. Brasselman, you know, throws 97, but it's a sinking 97 that goes with a cutter and a changeup. So not only velo or the power coming from those guys, but just the movement of the pitches, I think is paying good dividends here for us.
How are you?
Carlos, was it noteworthy to you at all last night that Brazoban, a guy who had been, you know, somewhat fragile earlier in his career, could give up the home run off the screen to tie a game and then come back and strike out the next 3 and maintain his focus? Is that, even at his age, a sign of growth for him?
100%, and that was the message. And as soon as he got back to the dugout in the 9th inning, I went up to him and said, hey, man, you did your job. Even though you gave up that homer, it was one pitch, maybe a mistake, you left it there, versus a good hitter. You got to give the hitter a credit too. But it was knowing Brasso, he could have just lost it there, you know, before you know, maybe a walk, a single, and before you know, it's 1st and 3rd, and he didn't do that. He settled in, went right after hitters and gave us 3 outs, gave us a chance to win. And then after the game, I went up to him again and I said, look, you see, it happened. You're not going to be perfect. But it was really good to see Brazoban, after giving up the lead in the 9th inning, going out there and getting 3 outs for us.
All right. Thank you very much, Carlos.